Hey guys, it's Zangelios with a very messed up headphone.
And it's Billy with a very messed up Zangelios, so it's okay.
Yes. All right, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm not too bad, man. I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy that me and you get to work on something cool together. This is gonna be a blast, dude.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited.
But what's up with
So,
to what we're talking about, dude? So obviously we're both huge Flash fans. We didn't even plan the shirts, by the way.
yep.
Literally, it was just
Yeah, it just happened.
But yeah. So we're gonna be talking. I know Zangelios was telling me that Grant Gustin. I'm gonna let you explain it a little bit, and then I'll jump onto it.
So, Grant Gustin, for those who don't know already, stars in The Flash. He plays Barry Allen, The Flash. His contract for The Flash, just like any typical CW show, only ran up to 7 seasons. So in a recent interview, English is hard. In a recent interview, he discussed that season 7 technically is his last season. It will be the last season of The Flash. However, he is in the talks to extend that contract to season 8, even season 9. So if all goes well, there will be a season 9 of The Flash, maybe season 10, we don't know. But we have the interview to show you guys, just so you guys have more context behind it. But that's basically the gist of the situation right now.
Heck yeah, and we can roll that interview, man.
One on my current contract, just season 7.
That's going to be a tough one when they throw money at you and they're like, hey.
Yeah, the conversations actually had started already for adding a potential 8th and 9th. And then this pandemic happened and everything has stopped. So, and we don't know when we're going back. And we didn't finish what should have been our last 2 episodes of season 6.
They were going to throw those episodes.
And now we're not. I mean, we might do those scripts when we go back for 7 to lead into what we were going to film anyway. I don't really know what the plan is. But we don't know when we're back, and I don't know when we're going to continue the negotiation talk. So I don't know what.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, there's two thoughts too. One, well, if I do sign on for a season 8, 9, I'll be fine for quite a while. I might have a family, blah, blah, blah. Maybe then I won't have to worry as much. The other is like, I've done the show long enough. I made some money and I just want to go do my own thing. So it's kind of that.
Yeah, there's both sides to it for sure.
So just immediately after watching that interview, the first thing I point out is you can clearly tell Grant loves watching The Flash and being The Flash. I mean, not only does he have 2 Flash posters up, he has a Flash skateboard. I mean, he clearly wants to be The Flash. He clearly wants to continue the show. He really wants to leave his legacy in not just the CW, but DC as a whole, which he's already done. He's my Flash. He is my favorite portrayal of The Flash in live action and animation and even comics. I've just grown to love Grant Gustin. So the fact that he loves this character as much as I do is just, give me more of The Flash. I'm 100% for it. So
Grant Gustin's always felt like that iteration, man. Like, even with Ezra Miller being casted and everything like that. Like, even Ezra Miller's co-star was super, like if I had to pick somebody to be my on-screen Barry Allen, it would be Grant Gustin. Like, I agree with you, dude.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I still want to get over that Ezra Miller reveal in Crisis. Nope, never.
That thing, oh god.
Still get chills.
Let me ask you this, man. What do you think? So going into it, what do you think the future holds for like even like arc wise? What do you think the next storyline would be if they were to do a future 8 and 9, 7, 8, and 9?
That one's tough, only because of what's going on in the world right now. I won't say it because YouTube likes to jack with the algorithm if you so much as mention anything in regards to what's going on right now. But the show was supposed to end at 22 episodes like it usually does. But because of what's happening, they had to cut it at 19, which I believe is the episode success is assured. That's the finale. There's 2 episodes left. So I could answer that question with 100% certainty. Like, okay, well, they're going to conclude the Mirror Master arc. They're going to conclude the Black Hole arc. And the next season would have been a Reverse Flash tie-in, because Grant also said in a previous interview that there was going to be a big Reverse Flash cliffhanger originally planned for this season. We're not getting that now, so that's great, because that's the number one thing I've been looking forward to. But in regards to what they could do at this point, knowing what we know, they're going to wrap up the Mirror Master arc. They're going to wrap up Black Hole and Carver stuff. I just don't know. Carver becomes this big monster in Rebirth, so as whether or not they'll do that, because CGI is, it's expensive. We'll see. But honestly, I have ideas of what I'd like them to do, but as to what I know they will do or think they will do, the possibilities are it's up in the air right now. So that's my say on that.
I'll jump on. I'm really excited because for episode 618, they just showed the promo recently. They show Godspeed back, which is really cool because as much as I love the Flash and them using Godspeed, they've used him like 2 or 3 times now, and it's always been in like not the best iteration of it. Like it's been very minor compared to like how Godspeed could have been told, which I still love it. Like it's awesome to see Godspeed realized. I'm excited. I really hope they do more with that character in the future because, again, in Rebirth, like they really highlight Godspeed as like a main antagonist for a while, and I always thought that was interesting. That's such a cool like the way they build up Godspeed and the way I don't want to reveal his identity for people that haven't seen it, but the way he's built around Barry Allen is like such a personal storytelling, and I love that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of a coincidence you bring up personal because one of the main things I'd like them to do in season 7, on top of building upon Godspeed, is as much as Red Death is cool and all, I don't know if they'll do that just because, I mean, that's Batman infused with Flash, and you would have to completely rewrite the character, and I'm not really for that unless you're going to stay true to the character. I mean, look what happened with Savitar. That was a massive disappointment, in my opinion. I love the fact that he was future Barry, but we had 2 episodes to explore with that, and that was a major letdown. But the whole point in bringing up personal is the fact that my personal favorite Flash villain of all time next to Reverse Flash is Cobalt Blue. And for those of you who don't know who Cobalt Blue is in the comics, he is Barry's brother, who was given up at birth because the hospital accidentally killed one of the Thawne's babies. So, I mean, that got dark really fast. But it's still a good story. And I would love for them to end up doing like an Eddie Thawne tie-in. But that's a very personal story for Barry. So I hope for them to do something like that, to be honest.
That's kind of how I felt too. It's really fun. It's actually amazing that you brought up Red Death because like, and my top note was the reason why I don't think Red Death would be a great villain for next. Because like the Arrowverse, the one thing they haven't done, granted they had Kevin Conroy play like a almost cameo is what I would say of Bruce Wayne, but like as an actual Bruce Wayne, like at least in Earth Prime, they haven't mentioned anything along the lines of like, this person is going to be Bruce Wayne. And for them to kind of shoehorn him in, like, especially shoehorning him into the Flash, I think it would just be a waste. Like, I don't think it would add any character depth to either, like, the show or Red Death. I think the story is awesome. I don't think it's awesome for the Arrowverse. I don't think they could pull it off right. Not saying they can't pull off awesome things, like Crisis was cool, and, you know, a lot of the villains they picked so far have been awesome, but yeah, no, I agree with that, man. I don't think Red Death is a really good idea. Let me ask you this, because this is kind of, there was some rumors like a little while back that Teddy Sears was in the works of coming back as Zoom. Like, it hasn't been mentioned since, like, I think the beginning of 2019, like before Crisis, but there was some minor mentions that he might be doing something as Zoom. Nothing else has been said on it. They pretty much dropped the idea, assumably, at this point. But I wouldn't mind, like, if you've seen Cisco's board in the back after Crisis, and he was talking about...
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing, like even, like, if it's a minor arc, like, something very... like, seeing even what happened with Zoom, or what happened at, like, post-Crisis, with his story.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. No, you're good.
Yeah, the whole thing with the board and the whole timeline converging, because correct me if I'm wrong, but Zoom was Earth 1. He was an Earth 1 Earthling, I suppose is the best way to put it. So I don't know how they would tie that in. Would that fundamentally change his plan? Because his plan was to end the multiverse, and he was from Earth 2 at the time. So I don't know if he had the same plan, if he was a, different type of Zoom, if his origin story was the same. So I have no idea, and I think that'd be a really good thing to explore, just because we know so very little of this new, pre-Crisis timeline. So, and there's another thing that kind of bothered me with Crisis, which, next to them omitting Reverse Flash as a whole, is the fact that in the comics, Barry Allen, he's the last one to have all the remaining timelines stuck in his head. And the same thing happened with Flashpoint. Yes, Barry Allen died in Crisis, but when he came back in Flash Rebirth, and no, not the Rebirth stories, the actual comic named Rebirth, he had all these memories, and he had to catch up and figure out, hey, what the heck happened? What's going on? And they didn't really do that all too much. He only has the OG timeline versus all the timelines that were combined. So I don't know how they're going to do that, or all the memories of all Barrys. So from all the different versions of him in the multiverse. So honestly, I have no idea how they're going to do that with Zoom. I would like them to, but we'll have to see. So
yeah, I agree with that. Like, because it's so interesting in my opinion that like they even went as far as, and granted, Zoom was a pretty big part in Barry's life, Barry's journey. It was just very interesting that they mentioned Zoom on the board for like, because they went over a lot of different aspects of a lot of their different timelines, and for them to still mention Zoom and then the minor, it was I can't, man, I really wish I could date the article when it's been a while, but yeah, I do think Zoom would be interesting just to touch upon. As for future arcs completely, there's one other really nice group that I think would be really cool. They haven't really done it. They kind of did it, but like, I really think a solid Rogues Gallery.
Rogues Gallery, yeah.
Yeah, like, especially because you've already inserted Captain Cold, you've already inserted Mirror Master. Like, you had the Trickster kind of. Yes and no. It was weird with Trickster, but. You've had a lot of the gallery come on there already. Like some of my favorite Flash comics involve most of the Rogues Gallery, or if not like even the latest, like one of the latest ones they've done where Commander Cold was introduced and all these other people. I really think if they were to actually like make a season even dedicated, kind of like how Arrow pieced it out in season 6, I think, where it was like.
Oh yeah, like Dragon and all of them.
Yeah, like I think a really cool like. Granted, not my favorite season, but, you know, something along those lines would be interesting to see, at least.
I would love a Rogue storyline, but the only issue I see with it is the fact that if they were going to do it, I really feel they should have already done it, because most of the iconic Flash villains, they can't use. Heatwave, he's offloading through time. Captain Cold, he's dead. King Shark and Gorilla Grodd, they cost way too much to have on the same screen in regards to CGI. That's why they only really did one episode with them. But if they wanted to use both of them, maybe they could just, pick one episode, like the finale, where they could have them both together, or where they meet. But I don't think they could do them every single episode just because of how expensive it would be. And Grodd and Barry are on semi-good terms right now. But I think that the Rogues would be kind of like a half season arc would be a really good thing, just because I don't know how they would spread it out. Legends did a fantastic job with this with the Legion of Doom, so it's definitely possible to go a whole season. Arrow did it too, like you mentioned, although those characters were far less interesting, in my opinion. Ricardo Diaz was the only one I was really compelled, but I think that's definitely a possibility. I would love to see it, don't get me wrong. I just, what characters, for example, would you use for a Flash Rogues arc?
See, it's interesting because you mentioned Gorilla Grodd and King and Shark having like I think CGI would hold them back. I agree with that. So you would have to kind of, I guess the best way to put it is Suicide Squad it, like the way they did with Arrow initially. Yeah. Is you would have to take out like a lot of the big members. I mean, with Captain Cold, there's not a lot of leeway, I guess, is the best way to put it. Like you can retcon and bring him back like they've done 19 times already.
Yep.
Which I is seeing it again kind of would take away from the value of it. I think maybe getting Golden Glider, and I know they, I already know everything happened with Golden Glider. I think maybe even doing like a iteration of like another family member or something along the lines to fill that role, or if not doing Captain Cold in that role, maybe like I think he died in Arrow. I can't remember. I was thinking of Captain Boomerang, but I can't remember if he passed away.
Right now, I think. Oh, Lian Yu, yeah. Yeah.
I thought too. You're right. It would be interesting. I think Mirror Master would be rough because you can't really do another iteration as quick as they're doing right now. But with them tying the season off as quick as they are, there is a chance they could do something with Carver. It's rough. It is, because there's a lot of members you'd have to really, like, I definitely see your point. There's a lot of members you'd have to be really tiptoey around.
I like the idea of maybe not focusing on the main ones, Captain Cold, Golden Glide, because their arcs have already been completed, and to retcon it and bring them back would kind of ruin that. Captain Cold, as short as his arc was, it was a good arc. The final words were, "There are no strings on me," and I think that was just a really good way to finish off his story. Versus, I mean, if you want to bring in different versions of him, like what was his name in Earth X? Citizen Cold was his name. I think that was it. Yeah, I think doing interesting things like that would be a great idea. I'm just worried about them retconning things if they do that. But I hope that if they do want to do a rogue story, A, they do it well, B, they don't extend it, and C, instead of making every single rogue focused on their rivalry with Barry, because the Flash is a very team-oriented show, why not have each member rival one of the characters in the team? So like Golden Glider would be Cisco because they have a history together. King Shark and or Gorilla Grodd would be Barry because they have a history together, or Caitlyn has a history with them. Stuff like that. Like each character could have their foil, essentially. I think that'd be a good play. Good arc.
I do too, and it's you mentioned it really well too with the Legion of Doom on Legends. The way they played off each other and the way that like they were introducing, like when they introduced Wally, and then they had everybody pretty much like you said, like everybody was foiled against each other. Everybody had like a natural nemesis to where it was really interesting to see. I just I don't know how it is for you, but whenever I think of the Flash, like the Rogues Gallery, besides Reverse Flash, the Rogues Gallery is one of the things that always pops into my head. Because they have such a strong gallery and such a strong choice of like who they could put in there. And I'm kind of with you on the fact that like they would definitely have to recast a lot of the team members to get like a strong narrative for it. And especially like them adding Nash to the team and everything, like it would definitely need a dynamic that feels I can't think of the right word for it, but like that feels
Yeah, organic. Yeah, and I think that's very important for a rogue story. They're not just villains. That's why Batman's Rogues Gallery works so well, because each relationship he has with those characters is very different from one another. Yeah, they're bad guys. Batman beats them up, locks them in Arkham, but that's the goal. That's not the story or the arc that takes to get to that point. It's the dialogue they share, the relationship they have, the plots that they go through. And I think that's very important for the Flash as well, and why the Flash also is one of those superheroes up there next to Spider-Man, Batman, that has such a great, rogues gallery. And if they can truly adapt this well enough that fits both the Flash and that team-based story, because we're 7 seasons in almost. You can't just put that on a dime and just change that. So I think if they do it well and without retconning and recasting too much, which there was Crisis, so it's definitely a possibility, I think it would work really well.
I agree. Other than that, my friend, I think we can, unless you have anything else to add, I think we can wrap it.
Yeah, I mean, we covered Cobalt Blue, and I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, just the relationship between him and Barry, and him and like maybe a Rogues to share one season would be a great thing. And I think we both agreed that Red Death would just be a little shoehorning him in there is not a good idea. Other than that, the Flash is running pretty low on, Rogues to go through for a big bad. So season 9, I think, would be a great stopping point for the Flash.
I do too, and I can definitely agree on that. And I think it would really cement in Grant's legacy of being the Flash. So I'm with you on that, man.
And actually, there is one more thing I wanted to add. Paigey touched up on this. For the final season of The Flash, I'm in agreement with Paigey we covered the potential arcs going forward in season 7, maybe season 8. But season 9, I think the villain that has to be not half long season, but a full season, unless they, do what Arrow did and cut it in half, would be Reverse Flash. I mean, if you don't know in the comics, or anyone watching who doesn't know this in the comics, Barry is the one who struck himself with that bolt of lightning. So I think that final episode of The Flash should be that going back in time, telling him, no, don't kill, don't stop Reverse Flash, let him kill Mom, as heartbreaking as that is. And I think that series finale would be that just perfect stopping point. Get that Reverse Flash origin story, and I think that would be the best way to wrap up the season 9 final season.
I do too, man. I'm in agreement with both of you guys. That would really be interesting to see, and I would love for Thawne to actually take center stage again for a while, because I really liked his character, and I still love his character.
steals the show in every single season he's in, every single episode he's in,
Yes, he
whether he's Matt Letcher or Tom Cavanaugh. So he's just great. He's just fantastic.
absolutely, man. I thank you, Zangelius or Corbin. I am so weird about their names, but
It's all good.
but thank you for doing the collab with me, man. It was really cool. Still have another video too, so.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you for having me. This was for you guys who don't know, this is my very first collaboration. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm very grateful to be here, and this was so much fun. So hoping to do this again.
Me too, man. Definitely anytime. I will always do butts. But I will always do stuff. I will always have a good time with you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, man. And then this is Billy signing off.
Yeah, signing off.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that collaboration I did, my very first collaboration ever with Billy from VizNawesome. Please go check out his channel and subscribe to him. Link will be in the description. He makes great videos and he's a great guy overall. Guys, if you want to hear another discussion Billy and I had, there is another video on his channel, link also in the description, where we discuss possible future crossovers, what we think they will do, who the villain will be, and what they've already said they think they will do. So guys, I really hope you go and check out that video. Again, link in the description, and this is Zang, signing off.